Why does a magnet always have two poles? Why do batteries require a positive and negative to generate power? Welcome to the dynamic dance of opposites described by the principle of polarity. In this episode, we'll explore the central Hermetic concept which states that duality permeates the universe. Polarity manifests in spectrums between two poles which complement one another in cosmic interplay. Understanding polarity allows us to harness the creative potential within tensions and transcend limiting dichotomies. We'll survey vivid examples of paired opposites from ancient mysticism and modern science. We'll also question assumptions about the absolute nature of polarity. Does a higher unity exist beyond even fundamental dualities? By examining the middle path between extremes, we can leverage polarity for wholeness and integration. Let's suspend binary thinking to discover unity within difference, symmetry across scales, and integrative systems transcending reductionisms. The dance begins as we enter a world alive with dynamic complements, charged from the friction of their cosmic interplay. We part the veil of opposites to discover the hidden face which unites them. Duality permeates the natural world and mystical traditions. Paired opposites abound, light dark, life did as good elf, order coloss. These complementary poles generate movement and change within the cosmos through their alternating tension and flow. The most universal polarity is feminine and masculine energies which manifest in yin-yang, Shakti Shiva, divine goddess God, and other pairings. Sexual reproduction relies on this dance between opposites. Biological processes also separate positive, negative, inward, outward, assimilation, elimination. In physics, matter-antimatter particle pairs demonstrate underlying polarity. Wave-particle duality reveals existence as both extended frequencies and discrete quanta. Binary code symbolizes information emerging from switching between a half, zero form in sequenced patterns. Asymmetries in chemistry and nature reveal deep polarities. Amino acids and sugars exist in both right and left-handed chiral forms which fit together like puzzle pieces. Brain hemispheres have contrary functions. Eyes and ears detect unique signals. Polarity generates the dynamic interplay underlying all change, form and information. Positive and negative charges, gravity and levity, contraction and expansion. Creation arises from the friction, fusion, and cycles between poles. While useful, the concept of polarity risks oversimplification if viewed too extremely. Dualities in nature form a complex spectrum of potentials rather than just binary opposites. There exist integrative states blending and bridging apparent contradictions. Day and night transition gradually through dawn and dusk. A circle links opposing points into continuity. Yin-yang shows how contraries contain and transform into each other in an eternal dance. Holism sees unity within multiplicity and convergence amid divergence. Both philosophies argue for compatibility between truth claims often framed as absolutist either-or propositions. Multiplicity can coexist with oneness, ecosystems balance, competition, and cooperation. Social progress includes both individual and collective well-being. Hierarchy allows the integration of polarity across dimensional planes. Dense physical existence parallels subtler emotional, mental, and spiritual domains. Higher levels reconcile and transcend lesser polarities. Like nested circles, wider orbits embrace smaller ones. The middle path taught by the Buddha avoids rigid extremes for a more nuanced centeredness between poles. The middle road integrates shadow elements into wholeness. It finds fertile synergy between thesis and antithesis. Understanding polarity allows us to leverage and harmonize dualities for balance, creativity, and growth. Problems often arise from polarization when we rigidly cling to one pole and deny its opposite rather than integrating between them. Over-identification with any extreme leads to shadow disconnection from the denied pole. Integrating seemingly irreconcilable opposites is key to self-actualization. This means embracing masculine, feminine, dark light, logic, intuition, and other poles within each of us. Tension between polarized elements generates energy, dynamism, and the birth of new forms. Electricity requires both positive and negative charges. Music emerges from opposing notes played together. Competition stimulates innovation. Conflict can forge deeper bonds through reconciliation. Harnessing polarity also allows paradoxical or non-linear thinking to transcend binary constraints. Zen koans, lateral thinking, dialectics, and the Triz framework help unify mismatched ideas for breakthroughs. The middle road between poles avoids reductionist extremes. Entertain paradoxical truths as multifaceted wholes. Absorb the wisdom of both halves to navigate life's inherent complementarity. While polarity generates motion and form, higher realities may exist beyond all division. Non-dual philosophies see duality itself as illusory, a construct of the limited human mind rather than an absolute truth. Mystical traditions propose a fundamental oneness transcending subject-object splits. Separation arises from perceptual filters and mental constructs. Through spiritual practice, we can experience unitive states unveiling the falsehood of isolation and duality. Einstein conceived of a unified field underlying creation's multiplicity. Cosmic consciousness dissolves the illusion of opposites and reveals an implicate order inhering in all things and events. Withdrawals of sense faculties via meditation. Certain realms of mathematics and physics similarly point to levels of reality free from binaries. Holism sees networks, emergence, and interdependence as more primary than polarity, or constructs like asymmetry charge and spin themselves limited constructs. Beyond conceptual thinking, non-dual awareness ushers perception of a deeper unity. Here, change arises not through polarity, but the spontaneity of being. By transcending divisions conditioned into the mind, we return to source where all dissolves into oneness. In this episode, we explored the ubiquitous dance of duality through the Hermetic principle of polarity. Opposites like masculine, feminine, light, dark, and good-evil permeate our world, generating dynamic motion. Polarity forms a spectrum of potential rather than absolute binaries. The middle path integrates opposites for wholeness. While polarity catalyzes change, non-dual states hint at a fundamental unity beyond all divisions. As we conclude, reflect on integrating your own inner opposites for alignment. How can you harness the creative potential between tensions? Where might higher synthesis be found between polarized perspectives? In our next episode, we'll explore the ebb and flow of creation through the principle of rhythm. All phenomena vibrate in cycles of activity and rest. Until next time, Walk the middle road between poles to discover unity within multiplicity.